She disappeared without warning. No texts, no calls, no explanation, just silence that slowly forced you to detach, rebuild your focus, and finally start moving forward. And then suddenly, she reaches out with one simple message, a hey, a casual question. Something so small yet powerful enough to reopen emotions you thought were buried. And now your mind is racing because this moment matters more than you realize, because how you respond right now determines whether you regain control of the dynamic or permanently lose her respect. And most men fail here not because they are weak, but because they respond from emotion instead of awareness. So listen carefully, because this is not about texting strategy. It is about psychology, power, and emotional positioning. And the first truth you must accept is this: she did not come back because she suddenly realized you were the one. She did not reach out because she missed you deeply or regretted losing you in some romantic movie moment. She reached out because something shifted inside her, because your absence created uncertainty, because your silence removed emotional access, because her validation supply dropped, because curiosity replaced comfort. And human beings, especially emotionally driven ones, cannot tolerate unanswered questions for long. Silence does not erase you from a woman's mind. Silence creates a vacuum. And when you disappeared without chasing, explaining, or collapsing, you became an unresolved variable in her emotional system, and that unresolved tension is what pulled her back. Not love, not clarity, not certainty. And this is exactly why your response must never come from excitement, relief, or fear of losing her again. Because the biggest mistake men make is replying instantly, confronting her about where she went, emotionally unloading, asking why she disappeared, saying they missed her, or worse, pretending to be angry or cold, because every one of those reactions hands her the power. She was testing for the moment you demand explanations, you reveal emotional dependence. The moment you respond too fast, you confirm you were waiting. The moment you explain yourself, you collapse the mystery. And the moment you show emotional charge, you answer the question she was really asking, which is, does he still need me? Because her message was never about conversation. It was a test, conscious or unconscious, to measure your emotional position, to see whether your world still revolves around her absence or whether you have evolved. And women are wired to assess emotional stability because on a deep psychological level, stability equals safety, and safety equals attraction. So when she reaches out after silence, she is sending a probe into your emotional territory, gathering information, and your reply delivers the verdict in one sentence, which is why your mindset before replying matters more than the words themselves. You are not reacting to her message. You are allowing access to your presence, and access is valuable because she reached out because you were gone. So do not destroy the very frame that brought her back, which means calm, grounded, unrushed, unattached, not pretending, but genuinely centered. Because during the silence, you rebuilt your life, your focus, your self-respect. And when you reply from that place, your energy carries weight without effort. So timing matters, but not as a game. Waiting is not manipulation, it is regulation. You wait long enough for the emotional spike to settle, so you are responding from clarity instead of adrenaline. Because when you see her name pop up, your nervous system reacts, heart rate rises, old memories surface. And if you respond in that state, you speak from emotion, not strength. So give yourself space. An hour, a few hours, enough time to feel neutral again, and then respond simply, because the strongest replies are short, warm, and detached. Something like, hey, hope you've been well, or hey, nice hearing from you, or hey, what's up? No emojis, no questions that chase, no emotional weight, no explanations, because this does three powerful things at once. It acknowledges her without rewarding her, it does not punish her, and it does not reveal your emotional position. And that creates uncertainty. And uncertainty is what fuels attraction, because now she wonders, did he move on? Why isn't he asking? Why does he seem different? And this flips the dynamic instantly. Because before she had certainty, she knew you were invested. She knew you would respond, and certainty kills desire. But now she does not know, and unpredictability activates curiosity and emotional engagement. So if she keeps things casual, you match her tone. If she says, just checking in, you reply, Got it. Hope everything's good on your end. You are not escalating, you are observing. Because whoever invests first loses leverage, and matching energy is critical. If she brings light effort and you bring intensity, you signal imbalance, so stay calibrated. And if she apologizes for disappearing, do not say, "It's okay, I understand," because instant forgiveness communicates that her actions have no consequences. Instead say, "I appreciate you saying that," which acknowledges accountability without dissolving your boundary, because forgiveness is valuable and should never be handed out automatically, and this maintains respect without hostility. And if she suggests meeting up, that is curiosity turning into intention, and your response should still be calm and contained. Something like, "Yeah, we can do that. Let me know when works," not excitement, not celebration, not over-availability, because you are allowing, not chasing. And by letting her propose the time you require continued investment, which reveals whether she is serious or just testing your availability. Because vague responses always reveal low intent. And if after all this she goes silent again, this is where men destroy everything by double texting, checking in, or emotionally spiraling. But the correct move is nothing, because silence already worked once and it works again. And if she disappears after reinitiating contact, it means either she got the validation she needed or she is testing whether you will chase. And in both cases, your silence is the answer, because the real goal was never her attention. The real goal is to never lose yourself again. Because when you respond from power, you attract respect, whether she stays or leaves, and this is not manipulation. It is self-preservation. It is emotional sovereignty. It is understanding that your value does not decrease because someone failed to see it. And when you operate from this place, outcomes stop controlling you. Because you are no longer trying to force desire. You are simply being the kind of man who naturally attracts alignment and repels confusion. And the final shift you must internalize is this. She did not return because you waited perfectly or played a game. She returned because you detached, because detachment creates freedom, and freedom is magnetic. Detachment is not apathy. It is the ability to care without being controlled, to want without needing, to stay grounded even when uncertainty appears. And most people collapse when someone pulls away. But you stayed standing, whole, focused. And that energy is rare. And that is why she felt the pull, and whether she comes closer or fades again becomes irrelevant, because you did not lose yourself in the process, and that is the real win, because when you no longer need her response, she starts needing yours, and that is power.